Winner's Circle, the podcast for all Averitt associates, no matter where you are or what you do. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast app of choice so you can be sure not to miss out on new episodes. And now, LTL operations leader and host of the Winner's Circle, Amos Rogan.
Everybody, welcome to the Winner's Circle. Just before we get into this really cool episode that we have for you that I'm really excited to bring you, I just want to bring up just a point of emphasis that I think that we need to make sure and we pay attention to, especially as leaders. You know, it's severe weather season. We've got a lot of stuff going on weather-wise right now across our system. Pretty active weather pattern, and we just want to make sure that we're making good decisions for our associates in order to make sure that we stay safe. You know, we put such a big emphasis, and rightfully so, on our associates' safety, our equipment and facilities, but also the general public and our customers. We want everybody to be safe. We want to be able to provide the best services we possibly can. But we need to use our tools that are needed and necessary and there for us to use to make the best decisions possible when it comes to the decisions that we make operationally during a time of severe weather. So the Averitt mapping system, the weather radars, your local authorities, all those tools are available to you through our network. If you don't have access to them, please let me know. We'll certainly make sure that you have access to that so we can make the best and safe decisions possible during these times where we get a little bit challenged by Mother Nature. So just wanted to make sure that we put that out there to make sure that you know whether you're in a sales car or whether you're in a big red truck, we've got to stay safe for everybody involved. So thank you for everything that you do on that, and just stay safe. So today we have a great episode for you. Super excited about this guy that I've known for quite a few years. He is one of the best dock associates that I think I've ever encountered or ever been around, not just from a performance standpoint, but from a personality standpoint as well. From our Knoxville Service Center, Mr. Johnny Haun. Johnny, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on with us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, Johnny, you've been around for quite a long time, and I won't say how old you are. You can do that if you want to. But how long have you been on the team here at Averitt?
I hired on in '89, so this is my 35th year. I'll be 35 years full time in November.
Wow, 35 years, and You've seen a lot of things, you've done a lot of things, but tell us first, what drew you to Averitt? What got you interested in coming on board?
Well, my uncle actually started working here in 1984. He hired on as a driver, kind of moved through the system, did a few different jobs here, and sadly we lost him in '89. He died in a car wreck. And then being as my granddad was his beneficiary, I got to meet Brian and a few of the other people as they come to help him with, you know, some of the tie up loose end kind of things. And it was a massive turnout at his funeral. I can't tell you how many Averitt employees showed up. I guess everybody that worked at Knoxville did. And, you know, standing around, Brian Snyder at the time was the service center director.
Yeah.
And, standing around talking, he's, you know, what kind of ball do you play? What do you do? And I was a senior in high school, and this was in February. And I said, well, I'm trying to figure out, you know, where I'm going to go to school, you know, who I'd like to play ball for, small talk. And he said, well, hey, you need a summer job, you know, give me a shout when you get out of high school. So I put an application in that April just to go ahead and get it started, because I was like, yeah, man, you know, I'm going to need some money. And it's been a long summer. Been here ever since. I hired on. I graduated high school, and I think I was working the second Tuesday after I graduated on the weekend. So
wow,
we were.
I kind of get it. I started out part-time doc. 26 years later, I'm still here. So
Sure.
I kind of get that as far as that goes. Well, you've seen a lot of changes in 35 years, and all of those changes have been on the dock, right?
Yes, well, I've had a great opportunity to do a lot of different things here. And we had just moved in, well, Averitt had just moved into this terminal as I was getting hired, because it used to be on Middlebrook and it was a lot smaller than this. So I've seen a bunch of changes, a bunch of first-time service centers opening and breaking their loads and things like that. It's been something, the change of how it was when I first started here to how it is now. I mean, we had we had way more buggies on the dock than we had forklifts.
Yeah.
You moved a lot different type of freight, But then when the deregulation was going through and we started opening all these terminals, it seemed like the floodgates opened for building terminals. I mean, you would see the first Marietta hit the dock, the first Greenberg, everything that you could find was first coming in, and it was like an explosion, really.
Yeah, and as you said, the types of freight that have evolved over
Sure.
those 35 years, from
Sure.
piece goods, and not a lot of palletized freight, to now virtually everything
Yes.
is moved with a forklift now. And now we're getting into scales on the forklifts and the dimensioners. Kind of tell us how you see that as benefits to us, and how it's kind of changed out there on the dock.
That's really helped pull in a lot of revenue that you think back as many years as I've been here that we wasn't even looking down those avenues. I mean, we were, just moving it, trying to get it from point A to point B and doing the job. And then you're seeing the scales help. They even help just with dock pickups when people drop stuff off, knowing what it weighs, and then capturing the extra revenue, which in turn is led to, raises, extra money for new equipment and things like that. But it's
Profit sharing.
I hired in here, we were doing the first thing that I did, we had an account with Kmart, and it was their apparel for the department stores. And it was all dead stacked on the floor, and we'd roll it out as a distribution account. Here in Knoxville, we've landed a bunch of different accounts that's done a bunch of different things. It's been quite the ride, I'd say.
Yeah. So, being around as long as you have, Johnny, and just kind of, you get the culture because you've seen that culture evolve and everything. What part of our team culture do you feel like is one of the most important things, and maybe one of the reasons why it's kept you around and in this role for as long as it has?
Simple. It's like a family environment. Some of my best and closest friends work here on the dock. Some of the guys that I'm still as close with as anybody that I've known for years have retired from here, and I still see them. We still go play golf. We still hang out. We still go fishing. I mean, the team matters thing. It's like a cliche, but it is like you're part of a team.
It is.
Having played a lot of sports and stuff growing up, it's the same. The dock's like a locker room. If you've ever seen a bunch of guys getting stuff done, but still joking around, having a good time, we have a ball. There's a few guys on the dock that we're real close with, and we'll be laughing and cutting up and saying, they're paying us for having this good of a time, and we're doing what we do. I'd say overall, that's probably the best asset here is the people. And it's like, been here this long and have been to many service centers and a lot of the company functions, you meet other people. It's not just in Knoxville. I've known you for a while. There's guys from the Cookville Service Center that we're actually going to meet up and play golf this weekend. Tri-Cities, a bunch of the other terminals that you've been around, and you see them come through, guys that you've seen come through these doors, different roles that they're doing, and you still bump into them, and it's like they've worked with you here all your life, but you've known them that long.
Right, yeah.
I guess probably the stability of Averitt is one thing that's kept me here for a long time. Like I said, when I had the opportunity to go full time, my dad, he's basically was self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
So paid insurance, paid holidays, paid vacation, retirement plan. Those were things that when he started seeing that kind of stuff, he's like, man, that's those benefits. And it is, it's the benefits they're great.
They are.
Insurance, all that stuff. It really helps out.
I always think, Johnny, to our younger associates, those who are junior to us, let's just say it that way, and maybe not necessarily thinking as much about retirement and about those types of things from a benefit standpoint, maybe don't quite understand the value that it really provides us as associates. And I think profit sharing in a lot of cases, and of course, with you being here 35 years, profit sharing means a lot to us at this point in our careers. Just the whole value of being an Averitt associate, I think, is just so important, and it's a story that needs to be told so much, especially to the younger associates, that second, and I would even call it potentially even third generation now associates that are coming on. Just out of your opinion, Johnny, what is the value of being an Averitt associate to you?
Well, it's the things you touched on. I mean, you work for a company that you feel like you can be proud of working for. And then you see things like the Averitt Cares for Kids. My cousin, who I'm very close with, like a brother, his 4-year-old son had a bout with leukemia, and you see kids going through this stuff.
Yeah.
And you can watch those commercials on TV, and if your heart doesn't go out, you need to check yourself. That's something to be proud of, especially when you see that it's a small thing out of your paycheck, but as a group whole, you see what it does. That's really impressive, the amount of money that they raise for that charity, the St. Jude's. And it's just, like I said, it's just something to be completely proud of, that you're with a company that has those kind of values.
Yeah.
And you see that, you can watch them kind of as it has evolved. I've been here this long. I remember when vacations topped out at 3 years. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
No matter how many years you've been here. And then it went from 3, and then you can get 4 and then 5. And I started when I was 18 years old, and I'm 53. So I'll get 6 before I'm done. Good Lord willing, and I'm still able to do this. But yeah, things like that. A long time it was a gain sharing. It was not profit sharing, but it was gain sharing. This is going way back. We did a monthly thing where they would actually give you, Averitt and Gary would put an extra day's pay on your paycheck if we were hitting goals. The profit sharing kind of strives you to help do your job even more, because you want that finish at the end,
Absolutely. And you set me up good on this next question that I wanted to ask you, is that you don't see a whole lot of people anymore work 35 years on the dock. It's something that to me, it's admirable, because that's where I started out too. And I think dock associates are some of the hardest working and so important in the whole grand scheme of everything that we do from an operational standpoint and taking care of our customers. Dock associates are so vital. But you tell me how important you see your role, and one of the reasons why, or some of the reasons why maybe you've decided to stay in that role for this long.
Well, like I said before, I've had a very good chance to do a bunch of different jobs here. Mm-hmm. I've been in dispatch. I've worked with, when we had the Honda freight, we were working with truckload dispatch. We were working with customs. I've seen a lot of different things. Having said that, I'm not the oldest tenure guy on the dock here at Knoxville. There's guys ahead of me still. I think I'm like 4th on the list, but I enjoy just being in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm not going to lie. You don't see very many companies like this have full-time dock associates. You're normally, if you're full-time, you're driving.
Yeah.
my hat goes off to those guys, because that is a tough job, being out in the traffic, dealing with that day in, day out. I pull a bass boat fishing, and people are so discourteous to you. I could not see how these guys handle being in a truck all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't realize how much time it takes to stop one. And everything that I've ever done here, I've still been on the platform or related to the platform to some extent. And it just seems like that's what fits for me. It fits for me, the hours that I get to work. Luckily enough, we have a it's a day shift. It's an early shift, but I've got 6 acres at the house that I like to go and get on the tractor and mess around with. So it allows me to come in and get done and still have a couple of daylight hours to go on and take care of that. So staying on the dock has kind of rewarded me of, I guess you would say, the start time of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's been good to me. So, I mean, why, fix it if it's not broke? If you wanted
Right.
if I wanted to move, there's been other job opportunities with Averitt to do something different, maybe go to another service center, maybe do something else. But
yeah,
I love Knoxville, Tennessee, and I like living here. And this has took care of me and provided a great living for 35 years and hopefully for a few more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love Knoxville too. Go Vols. But I can say that with a little bit more confidence now around these years.
It seems to be they're working that way.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years ago, I probably wouldn't admit that too much to too many people unless you were from Knoxville and just kind of be a long-suffering Tennessee fan along with us. But, Johnny, one of the things that I've always looked and saw out of you is an example, someone who can just quite honestly, if you want to be a good dock associate, look at Johnny Haun, and that is the guy that you need to emulate. But
thank you, I appreciate it.
Well, and I mean that. But one of the things that I would like to ask you that I think only you can answer is talk to the Johnny Haun 30 years ago who'd been on the dock for 5 years. What piece of advice would you tell him now that he may have not known then?
Probably the one thing I struggle with is patience. Mm-hmm. And I would say, just be patient. Sometimes we look like ants crawling across each other out there, as much freight as is on the dock and with the pace that we're going. Patience is it. That would be my biggest thing. Say, be patient. You don't have to win every 5 seconds. Just get your wins when you can.
Yep.
But I really look back. There's nothing I would say I would have a regret on, or that I feel like I've done that I should have went a different avenue. To be successful in life, I think you have to be happy. And the guys can tell you I'm probably one of the most joking around, happy guys from time to time, not always, but there's nothing I could really think of that I have took a wrong turn. And it's been a good support staff. I've worked with, I can't tell you how many great guys. I can't tell you how many people's come and gone since I've been here.
Yeah.
And still here. And like I say, there's not a whole lot I would tell myself to do different, because I'm very content with where I'm at and what's going on now.
Well, I haven't seen this very often, but I have seen you hit a couple bad tee shots, and you never really got mad. So
more than you've probably seen I've hit. But yeah.
I've seen better shots than bad shots out of you, but you're right. You don't really get that flustered or that tore up about anything that may not go your way. You just turn around and figure out how to fix it. So that's very admirable. What piece of advice would you probably tell someone who's brand new to the team, especially on the dock?
Man, get with the guys that are around you. We've got guys that have only been here a few years, but they get it.
Yeah.
Check the guys out that have been here and how they do it and what would they do. And I tell all the guys that start, don't hesitate to ask questions. I said, there's not a dumb question. I said, you have to ask questions. That's the only way you're going to learn. And you could go up against something like I told you, patience. I'm bad about, okay, I'm just going to push through. Step back, ask a question, and you'll figure out how to do it a lot easier. And it'll probably be a lot easier on you and better for your body and everything else to come. I mean, just get with the guys and watch the guys that's been here, and everybody will help you. We've got like I said, it's not just Knoxville. There's a lot of great people that work at Averitt. It's something to do with the hiring process. How they got stuck with me, I have no idea, but there's a lot of great people here. And if you ask, everybody's always great to help.
Well, you've been a great help to us, and you've been a good friend as well. And I really appreciate everything that you do and everything that you're going to continue to do there at the Knoxville Service Center. We really appreciate you joining us today, Johnny, and hope you have a great summer. We'll probably see you soon somewhere on the golf course.
For sure. Thanks. I appreciate y'all having me, and thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for it.
Absolutely. Folks, thanks so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Share it with your friends and family. Be safe, be blessed, and we'll talk to you next time.